I'm going to just talk for the next few minutes about how the Constitution impacts my own area of expertise as it connects to the subject at hand.
Right.
So, first of all, I'm a natural resource practitioner, but then I also practice within the larger, wide area of infrastructure. And so from time to time, I'm confronted with our Constitution. And, I'm always conflicted around what is or what should be and what should be. So we have this constitution that we love to hate. It's brought us together. It is federal by design, unitary in practice. So there's this contention between federal and state forces and all the potentates within it. So let's go, for instance, and look at what the Constitution does in terms of development within areas, right, of interest to me. The Constitution says that there's certain uses of land that are priority land uses. Now, for the context of this talk, let's focus on areas such as railway development, mining, and petroleum exploitation. And let's see what the Constitution does and question whether it actually helps us attain development or not, and see whether we can tweak it. So the current law relating to rail development was enacted in 1948, the Railway Act. The British were in control of Nigeria, that territory, at that point in time. And they organized the railway system for their own purposes, basically to move produce and natural resources from various parts of the country to the ports for export. So basically, it was an extractive piece of infrastructure. Several years on, Nigeria's population has grown fourfold. And we now need to have a railway system that works more efficiently for, but if you were a state government, or a state governor rather, and you needed to develop a rail system within the territory of your state, according to current law, which is encased in the Constitution, enshrined, we lawyers say, you will have to apply to the managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation for approval to build a rail line or a rail system. He would be bound to put the application to his minister. The minister would be bound to go to the president for approval. And depending on who the president for the time being is, if that governor was not in a contiguous political party, that railway line or system would not be developed within that state. So my point is this, time has come, 60 years on, for this anachronism to go, right? Railway lines engender development. I think that's a given, right? Let us come to the point where any state should be free to develop lines, right, as it sees fit. Of course, there's a federal rail system, so the important thing is the interconnection with the federal system. But it is wrong for you to have to go all the way to Abuja, beg, scrape to get approval. It doesn't help the country. Okay, so that's one issue. And I've got 3 minutes, I believe. Let's go to mining. So I was coming back from the United States from sabbatical, and one of my first tasks in the early 2000s was to develop to write the mining code for Nigeria. Coming from a federal system, I thought naturally, every state should have the power of control over the mining of mineral resources within its territory. Again, I went back to my constitution. It's very clear, right? The constitution arrogates ownership of mineral resources and petroleum, right, to the federal government. Then, of course, we've seen what has happened since. We have a mining sector that is crawling literally. Of course, I had no choice. I had to draft in accordance with the Constitution. No choice about the matter. My remit was not to amend the Constitution. My remit was to draft law, and that law had to be consistent with the Constitution. So here we are today. We have a mining legislation that basically starts by acknowledging the power of the federal government, its ownership over mining resources. But we all know that there are minerals in literally every state of the Federation occurring. But when you look at the mining map of West Africa, there are mines everywhere, hardly any operating in the country. Perhaps we could have faster development of our minerals if the states own those minerals. So that's a food for thought. Same goes for our petroleum resources. So we're very emotive over petroleum, but this is the country where rights over petroleum resources are granted to individuals, some of whom now become stupendously richer than some states where millions of people wallow in poverty. I just wonder, is it not about time we took another look at this and see whether it might help to grant some of these resources directly to state governments? So my 5 minutes up, but this is just thoughts, food for thought.
Those are opening thoughts, and thank you very much. You know, this is